about Marcus. Tell me what you think about crime.
We're talking about love right now. That's right. And in the studios of ZIZ Radio, we have the police officers, two prominent guys here today who's going to speak to you about their great topics today and what they're doing to take care of the community and what's happening in and around us. I would like to get those guys introduced at this time. Introduce yourself. Good morning.
Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Policing with You from wherever you are listening and tuned in, whatever medium. My name is Sergeant Marvin Thompson, and I'm your host for today. With me in the studio, we have
ACP Adolph Adams. I don't think I need any introduction. I want to say good morning to all who is in reach of my voice. And this morning, yes, I am the person who is in charge of operations in the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force, and I am here this morning to update you on a few things that is of concern to our community.
Okay. So good morning again to all. So Mr. Commissioner Adams, as Assistant Commissioner with responsibility for operations, just tell us a little bit about that role.
Well, being in my position as the operations commander, my main responsibility is to pay close attention to the crime statistics and to provide actionable and workable solutions to preventing crime in the entire federation. This is done through traffic management and road safety, community policing, managing our beat and patrols, and to strategically deploy our resources in critical areas where they can be maximized in preventing and combating crime. So I would say in short, my role is mainly to prevent crime and to ensure that our federation remains safe.
You mentioned a lot of things about the beat and patrol, so you're responsible to make sure that the manpower is deployed where it needs to be at the particular time. That
yes.
is what it sounded like.
As I said, I pay special attention to the statistics at hand, and I place resources in areas where they can be maximized for strategic use.
Okay, I'm piggybacking off of that. In terms of the recent upsurge in gun violence that has resulted in some loss of life, what is the response from the force in terms of that?
Well, firstly, let me say on behalf of our commissioner and the other ranks, we will want to extend sympathies to families that have lost loved ones and to communities that have been affected. The police is from the community, and so when the community pains or aches, we also feel the pressure from the community as well. And so I am happy that I am here this morning to outline a few things. And I am happy to inform the general public that the Caribbean as a whole, we are experiencing a phenomenon where we are seeing an upsurge in criminal and gang activities throughout the Caribbean. Saying our federation is no different. We have been, over the past few weeks, we have seen an uptick where gang activities has been on the rise, and with that we have seen 8 homicides being resulted thus far. And as a result of that, I am happy to report that on Tuesday, the 24th of April, the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force has launched Operation Reassurance. This operation would be in existence in its first instance for at least 1 month, and the mission of the operation is to provide innovative leadership between the security forces, the justice system and other agencies, and as well as the public in combating the violent gang activity that we are seeing in the Federation. This would involve disseminating of information and knowledge, and to derive at a solution, a workable solution as to where we can minimize or eradicate the scourge of gang violence from our Federation. How we plan to achieve this? And we have started this already. We have deployed our investigators to work feverishly and vigorously around the clock to investigate these criminal activities and to come up with the root problem that has been causing this effect in our communities. We also ask our intelligence personnel to work alongside with our investigators. At least if we establish the root cause, we'll be able to properly investigate these activities. We have deployed some simple strategies, workable strategies, and you will hear the commissioner speak about it a lot, hotspot policing.
Okay.
This is placing our resources in the areas that are mostly affected.
So you were talking about earlier.
Yes.
In terms of making sure the manpower is where it's needed.
Yes, the manpower is in the area that is most needed, and these areas are the areas that we are most likely to see shootings or gang-related activities. And we want to do this on a 24/7 basis for the entire month until we see some reduction in the gangs and the criminal activities. I can say, as a result of our hotspot policing, we have taken a number of persons into custody where they would be vigorously interrogated by our investigators, and actionable intelligence would be derived from those investigations. We have also deploying strengthening our community outreach measures, and this is where we want to interact with gang members. All right, we realize that brutal and combative force all the time is not the best way to go about dealing with these type of situations, and so we want to reach out to these quote unquote gang members, because we got to understand as well, they're from our communities. They are people's children, they are people's fathers, they are people's brothers, they are people's sisters. And so if we reach out to these people, we can forge the type of behavior that we would want to see displayed on a regular basis.
So you're saying you're having a conversation, at least attempt to have a conversation
yes,
with some of the persons.
even though we are vigorously trying to eradicate their nonsense that they are perpetrating in the community, we still want to change minds. We want to change the mindset of these persons. All right, because if you're aggrieved about something, to pick up a gun and just to go and shoot somebody, that is something that we cannot encourage in our society. Who will be next? All right, and so that is why I want to speak about it this way. This is a real vexing, serious matter that we are dealing with, and I think that all of us should come on board and get rid of this scourge from in our community. All right. We also, in our approach, we also want to enhance our crime fighting and crime prevention strategies. And we know these are the normal things that the police will do. We want to increase our patrols, whether it be foot, whether it be mobile patrol. We want to increase our stop and searches on the road. We want to increase our execution of warrants, and we will be doing that. We want to go after the persons who are selling firearms and ammunition and drugs, and we're going to vigorously go after them. It doesn't matter what it takes. We're going to deploy all lawful means to eradicate these scourge from our society. We also want to enhance our CCTV capabilities and ensure that we have persons monitoring these equipment 24/7. These are crime fighting equipment, and we want to ensure that we use them to our maximum effect. All right, and in doing so, we also would have to collaborate with agencies. All right,
agencies like
we want to collaborate with agencies like the Defense Force, the Customs, the prison, and immigration as well. And I could never ever forget you, the public, because without you being on board with us, all right, we can't reach anywhere. Crime fighting is not about police. Crime fighting is about community, and that is why I call all those agencies, because
I think you need to repeat the last part.
Yes, crime fighting is not about police. Crime fighting is about community coming together and coming up with the best solution to tackle all our social ills and the problem that affects our federation. All right, we can't sit by idly and say, "Oh, it's the government fault, or it's the police." Gone are the days when we could do those kind of things. Come together collectively. We are in the majority, and if you look at studies will indicate to you that 90% of any society would be law-abiding people. The 10% we can't afford to allow them to dictate what the 90% would do. And so the police want to provide that type of leadership to bring everybody on board to tackle the scourge that we are dealing with in our society.
You mentioned that there would be increased patrol. So what is the public to expect in terms of that?
Very good question, Sergeant Thompson. And we want the public to understand this. All right. If you are going to be expecting us to be out there, if you are going to be expecting us to be in the face of the gangsters and the criminals, it comes with consequences. It comes with some level of you're going to be your daily routine sometimes would be disrupted. Because if we're out there on the street and we are providing traffic stops, you will be disrupted, and you have to understand why this is being done. All right, we are. I like to say this as well. We are human beings. All right, we're gonna make mistakes. Some of the time we're gonna knock on the wrong door. All right, but if I was a civilian, I would feel more comforted to know that the police is knocking on my door rather than the criminal. All right, and so we want you to understand. If you knock on the wrong door, don't cuss us out. You understand? Don't go on social media and spread all kind of nonsense, all kind of. I don't want to use nonsense. All kind of things negatively.
Misinformation.
Yes, about the police. We are trying to bring our crime situation under control, and we're gonna use our lawful means to do so. And if we make a mistake, we want you to understand.
Okay. So you mentioned that crime fighting is not a policing thing, but a community thing. So you're also expecting the public to make an input.
Yes.
Not just in terms of the attitudes that they might portray when they experience the inconveniences when we might be doing the traffic stops, and they might have some places to go and they're a little delayed and may get a little annoyed. So you're asking for their understanding.
Yes, I am.
This, to put it a certain way, it's not a personal thing.
Yes.
We're trying to do the job that they're supposed to do in terms of providing that security, that reassurance.
Yes.
So in doing that, there is some level of inconvenience that they will pay, but they must understand that we're doing it for the betterment of the community.
Thank you.
I think this is a good spot for us to take a break, Ronnie, and then when we come back, we'll entertain some calls.
ZIZ Radio, entertaining the nation, enjoyed by the world.
Each day, we see how unpredictable life can be. So let Nagico Insurances help you prepare and safeguard what matters most. We provide solid coverage you can depend on, like life insurance to provide financial security for those you love, medical that covers dental, vision, and preventative care, and auto insurance with comprehensive coverage so you can drive with confidence. For all your insurance needs, visit us at Nagico.com. Nagico Insurances, fast, fair, and always there.
Tune in for Policing with You, a half-hour radio program every Thursday morning at 9:15 on ZIZ Radio. Join host as he focuses on crime, factors contributing to criminal activity, crime prevention, and how the community can assist the police in reducing crime. It's Policing with You every Thursday morning at 9:15 on ZIZ Radio. Join us.
Welcome back. Any calls? Call, go ahead.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning, Ronnie.
Good morning.
Yeah, here the man jam down. As usual, anything to do with police is my program. Now I heard one of you say that the minority, a minority, they're not complying with the rules and regulation of the land. But I think that the head person who's supposed to demonstrate what the law says and obey the constitution of the land has committed a big crime. And that person is supposed to show example for everyone else to follow. And it's not the one time that person commit a crime. They committed it 3 times. And I think that is what you call it, crime. Anyway, it's a crime. And not only shooting and choking is crime. When anybody break the law, that is also a crime. And that person should be dealt with according to the law. But it seems like some people bigger than some when they commit crime in this country. And only certain people are held responsible for what they did. Okay, thank you very much. I'll leave it there for now.
Well, Carlo, I have no knowledge of what you are speaking about. And what I would like to say, I think sometimes when we go around and we start pointing finger, all right, this is what some of the times cause us to be in the type of situation that we are in today. All right, I am here. I am saying that the police wants to provide the type of leadership with other agencies, the community, and everybody on a whole, for us to start to fight the scourge that we are seeing in our federation. All right, and I will say this: crime is not about pointing fingers. Crime is about holistic approach between all of us, and we need to get away from that type of mindset. When we do this, the only person who benefit are the criminals, and we need to get on board. We need to do away with this. And so, Carla, that is where I would choose to answer that question. And so, I would like us to get back to serious business.
Carla, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Inspector Adams.
Good morning, sir.
You know this thing can't control unless you're in the middle of it, you know. You're in the middle of it, we will reach where we walk. Because I'm appealing to the High Command to do not let this thing get out of hand again. You understand? We're not going to tolerate it. If we elders them traumatized with this kind of scourge in these kind of areas in the community, we're not going to allow it. And I'm warning you all, Adams. Culture talk after what he's hearing in the ghetto and I've seen it. Mr. Adams, what I want to see is a task force comprised of Dexter them who work with you for a lot of years to not lawlessness on the streets of Bastille. It never used to happen. It never happened on the Bratcha, it never happened on the Simmons and Walwin and them, France and them. I don't think, clearly, it never happened clearly like that. And we cannot go on the road it will be seen. So I'm warning you all and the commissioner, when these kind of things assist the community when they want to do a demonstration, because that's the way we don't got to go. The community don't got to get up and let these people know we're not tolerating that this kind of murdering in the country. We have seen too much of blood running in the country, and we won't take it so. Somebody got to talk. I like your tone, Adams. We all got to come together and deal with this thing. It's not your police alone. It's trouble in the country about name again. We tourist industry there is very fragile, like a glass of your best where you get home from work and you're drinking and the glass drop out your hand, that's gone. It's not going in the buckle of our boy one. Please, fellas, Adams.
Yes.
I've been telling you a long time about officers when members of the public see problem around and they try to update the officer on what's going on. They're telling you go up station. The station will come and make quite into superviolence. To the little when you call them, they're telling you go up station. The police just the time you're up in the studio, Inspector Adams, no. It never found the chief with them. When you see things that are problem at 2 men fighting, gun involved, now you used to see knife and machete and so. Now you're hearing gun.
Jam down.
They want it.
Jam down. We want to thank you for your concerns. We have listened to you, and I can assure you your concerns would be addressed. We would, just like you, the police would want the community to adopt a zero tolerance approach to gang violence. And so we would want persons to come forward with the necessary type of information that the police can pursue these criminals.
Adams, as you say, you know, to engage these guys. You know who they be, engage them. Ain't it nothing of violent way, but engage them, ask them what is the problem. Why they doing these things to the country?
Alright, thank you, John Down. Could we? Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, caller, when you're on.
Hello, Sergeant Thompson.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. I'm calling from New York. I was born in St. Kitts and Nevis. You just spoke to my brother. That was my brother talking.
Okay, sir.
The problem with St. Kitts is this: the young people don't fear the police. When I was growing up, we was afraid of police. We were so afraid of police that we never walked by the station at night because we always scared the police is looking for us. Until you all get a grip on the young people, because United States had a direct influence because they got cable that they could see everything that goes on in America. Until you all get a handle on the young people. I remember when I was small, if you commit crime, they send you to a place called Skerrit in Antigua, like for bad boys. And you don't want that shame on your family. So until you all get a hold of the youth and the young people, United States have too much influence on the Caribbean. And that's where the young people, they don't have no fear of a police. And when you all could control that, you will stem the flow of crime. And all the guns and weapons that come in the Federation, they don't come in the airport. They come in those bays around the islands. And the Coast Guard need to be more vigilant. In Puerto Rico, the Coast Guard guard the whole island of Puerto Rico. They circle the whole island of Puerto Rico looking for smugglers. And once you all could stem the flow on them coastline, you will get a handle on the guns. Ain't no way in the world all them guns supposed to come into an island 6-8 square miles so easily. That's not supposed to happen. So those are things that I see from my observation. And those are doings that a lot of illegal weapons getting into the Federation. Because fishermen go out to get the fish pot and stuff like that. They don't see no Coast Guard cutter going up and down watching them and watch what they're doing. So they need to protect the coastline of the island. And that's my observation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, caller.
All right, thank you, caller. And I would like to side with you with some of the things that you have said. And also, I would like to debunk some of the things you may have said. We are living in a modern society, and we don't want to create an atmosphere of fear in the communities against the police. We don't want that. All right. What we want is the community and the police working together to solve all the ills that affect our community. All right. If you create a level of fear, nobody would want to come forward and speak to us. We can only do so much, and we are depending heavily on the community to provide whatever assistance they can provide in order for us to make the Federation safe. So I would not promote fear in the police. Gone are those days when people used to fear police. We don't want to create that atmosphere. The relationship that we want to forge is working hand in hand to solve crime and to prevent crime from occurring. And I agree with you with regards to our measures when it comes to protecting our borders. I think that we have to, beef up that area and ensure that we create a difficult atmosphere for criminals when they're trying to bring these type of contraband into our Federation. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. All right, and so I am here this morning to let the general public know that your concerns would be taken on board, and I want you all to know that the police understands that we would not be able to do this alone, and we want to provide the type of partnership so that we can move forward in eradicating the scourge of gang violence from our Federation. Today, as I sit here, we have 8 homicides. 8 homicides in a small Federation of ours is very alarming, very concerning, and so we need to move to the next level in eradicating the scourge from our community. The only way we can do so if we do this hand in hand.
You mentioned earlier when we started that we are beefing up the community outreach.
Yes.
That just underscores what you're saying in terms of we're not looking for bygone ever we will have persons fearing the police. We are part of the community. We want them to recognize that we are their sons, their daughters, their fathers. We are still part of the community, just tasked with a particular role.
Yes.
And we want them to still forge that relationship so that we are working hand in hand and dealing with the crime that we are facing, because only that way that we'll make any real traction working together. You have any other caller?
No, we don't have any more callers at the moment. But I have a question. What you guys think about implementing harsher penalties for illegal weapons? Think that could be a deterrent?
Yes, Ronnie, I agree with you. I think our laws with regards to firearms need amending. The penalties need to be stricter because we need to send a strong message that we won't be tolerating this type of behavior in our beloved federation. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. All right, but apart from the penalties, because we want to prevent crime. We don't want to reach to a stage where we have to be prosecuting and we have to be sending our young people to prison. All right. So we want to put whatever we can put in place to prevent our young people from going along that path. There's no need for a gun. I could tell you that much. There's no need for a gun. There were times in our federation when we were living like family. You look over your neighbor friends when you have a problem and you call somebody to help you if you have a situation. All right. I think the community has gone to a divided state, and so we need to bring back that type of community involvement in combating what we are seeing in our federation. We used to hear our grandparents and parents speak about it takes a village to raise a child. Nowadays, everybody living individually. Nobody care about nobody no more. Nobody look about their neighbors no more. All right. I would speak about an incident that I witnessed. I grew up with a young man and I observed that he took a different path to me, a different lifestyle to me. All right, he was involved heavily in gangs and crime, and I used to frown at my face on him because I used to I never understand why this man who used to do so good in school, he chose that path. I used to frown upon him. All right, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna take a different approach. One day I called him and I said, hey, look here, I know if I'm small, why don't we go somewhere and have a conversation? I took him out for dinner and we sat down at the table about for 2 hours and we had reasonable conversation. All right, and the reason why I brought up this because 2 days ago when we were going out and picking up people, all right, with regards to what is going on out on the street, he called me and he said, Mr. Adams, there's no need to send anybody by my place. All right, you have spoken to me and what you said to me that evening still a part of me. All right, and we need to get more of this from people, and opposed to just pushing up your face on people and condemning people. Let us reach out and let us see what we can do as a community, as a person. Let us see. All right, I don't think we need to reach to the state where we want to be sending our children to prison. Let us try to prevent. Yes, some of them are going to reach there, but let us try as much as possible to prevent what we are seeing in our country. Thank you.
In terms of that, in terms of the prevention and trying to divert some of the young person, that is where the community policing aspect comes into play. And I remember when the commissioner was on the program and when he was doing one of his talks, he mentioned the community policing as one of the areas that he's going to focus on. So if we can divert as much of the young people away from that lifestyle, then there's less that we have to deal with in terms of the crimes.
Yes.
Okay, we'll take the call.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Inspector.
Good morning, sir.
I just got a little idea saying, we can put some drones around the place when these incidents happen. We put drones up and just take capture these guys who maybe on car or foot or wherever.
You need to use some drones in Bastille. Bastille is too small for these things to happen, and we can't find nobody. We hold up 2 bad boys, and when 3-4 hours, they're back on the road. We need to get some drones in the air.
All right, Carlo, that is, Carlo, I want to thank you for that call, and that is what we are here for. We are here to take all solutions, and I mean, all recommendations from the general public and implement them in our strategy. All right, I like that idea, and that is something I think that we have to look at, because when we look internationally, everything that happened in the US, you see it being broadcast from above. All right, and so I think that we will have to implement some of those measures to ensure that we have more coverage in and around Bastille. And you heard me spoke about our CCTV capabilities, and that we want to ensure that we have 24/7 monitoring of our CCTV. We want to also have patrols, position in strategic position. So if something happens, in moment notice, the police could respond. A lot of things need to go in place, and our new commissioner is doing all that he can do to put these into fusion. And in the near future, we're going to see a lot of new initiatives being rolled out in the organization. So, Carlo, I want to thank you for that bit of information.
So, in terms of the CCTV, of a call. Okay, we'll take the call.
Is that I said?
Yes, good morning again. Mary.
Yes.
For the past 2 months, around town, we have seen a group of young women, the CARICOM citizens. They dress well, they groups, and the conduct of them is terrible. I had to engage some of them over by Port by the bar. See, this is not southwest, northwest. This is the place called St. Kitts Nevis, and when they come here, they don't respect themselves. Because Kittish women don't go on with them kind of conduct there. Push this and push. We don't want that down there. And I had to engage them, and I warned the immigration to check some of these people to see how friendly they behave with national security. It's terrible. We have seen too much. We're getting strange things happening, and we're not going to tolerate it. Have a good day, Adi.
Thank you for the call.
I want to say good morning to Inspector Commissioner Quealy. I know he's listening, because he know he was instrumental to bring this. When he approached me, I endorse it, because this is where we got to go. We want order in this country. We had it before. I know, I will say, Adi, once you're around it, we will never achieve what we had before. You do it already, and I still feel you could do it again.
Thank you, Jamdam. Thank you, Jamdam. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Good day.
Yeah, I'm here again, Mr. Adams.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yeah. Now, I agree with Ronnie Rascal a while ago when he said about the penalty.
Yes.
Because for years, I have been talking about this. That penalty is like trying to bust a man's head with a sheet of toilet paper. And you know that can happen. Now, 2022. Remember we had a lot of sharks being caught around our waters.
Yes.
And those sharks deter a lot of people from going in the sea.
Yes.
To bathe. And you know the reason why they didn't go in there? Because they didn't want to be eaten by a shark. And so therefore, if the penalty is harsh enough for those people who committing these crimes, a lot of them would be deterred from doing it. Because they do not want to experience the kind of penalty that we think should be administered to them. But because you see people using whatever weapon to commit a crime and getting away with it, because some of them out here where they are, they're not even getting 1 meal, never mind 2 and 3 meals.
Yes.
And they don't have to pay no bills. But when they get in 1840, they're comfortable with the show of 3 meals. And they confess to one another what they do. And when you look, you can hear some kind of foolishness coming up from England about what, Queen Pleasure. When she gonna know, so they're gonna be King Pleasure. So what happened to the victims' pleasure and the victims' relatives who got to feed them in prison and still look after the wounded relatives? So the penalty need to step up like how we used to be. Once ago, we used to afraid when we see a police, we weren't going to hide, and we ain't do nothing. But things change. They have seen a lot of different things on TV, what they could do and get away with it, and that is what have them going on so today. So we have to live with the times too and punish them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller.
Yes, thank you, Jam Dong. And I mean, culture, sorry. And that is what we are looking for from the community. Workable solutions. Alright? As we tackle the crime situation in our federation. So thank you, Jam Dong. I mean, culture.
ACP, could you just go over in terms of the operation and what the public should expect and how we are?
Alright, we have spent a considerable amount of time in outlining our operation reassurance, and through these operations we would like to more or less, we want to control and disrupt the capacity of the criminal network that are operating in our federation. Alright, so you will be seeing us out there on the street more. You will be seeing us doing more stop and searches. You will be seeing us executing more warrants, and it is because we want to control the movement of the existing gangs and disrupting their network. Alright, and so we want to engage them as well. As I said earlier, we made a lot of mistakes in the past, and we have realized that sometimes brute force would result in brute force. So if we execute brute force on our public, the brute force sometimes would be returned to I mean, innocent citizens, and we don't want that. So we want to engage instead of using that level of force that we have seen in the past. We want to prevent the expansion of these gangs, and so we are using a number of measures to curtail this. All right, if we allow the gangs to increase, what can we expect if we allow gangs to increase? So we want to put measures in place that we can prevent our young people from joining gangs. We are vigorously pursuing these gangs. We are doing our best in gathering intelligence of these gangs and their associates and their operatives. All right, so we are appealing to the general public. Whatever information you can share with us, come forward and give that information. Parents, your children are living with you. If you see any ill behavior with your children, please don't be afraid to report it. A lot of people like to have the notion, oh, we don't trust the police. And so because we don't trust the police, we are not going to share information. Me personally, I would like to say that is an excuse, that we need to move away from excuses. The police is 400 strong. The defense force is 100 and something strong. We have prominent persons in society. We have government ministers. We have the church. We have all kind of people. If you don't trust the police, there are means you can reach out to somebody, and that information would be handed over to a trusted source in the organization, and so we can use that information to help in our operations. All right. So we don't want people to be making excuses that because I don't trust the police, I'm not going to share information. Please let us move away from that. We have seen what that kind of behavior have resulted in. It has resulted in the gang members becoming more active and destroying our society. Every bit of information you may have, we want you to come forward and bring it, that we can use that in our operations. We are using our intelligence measures to identify all these gang members. One caller spoke earlier and said, we know who these people are. Yes, we do. And we are using our capabilities to ensure that we have these information log, and we implement them into our strategy. Our schools, we have our NIT, National Intervention Team, that goes into our schools and educate our children as it relates to being, the ills of joining a gang. And those are the kind of approach that we want to see. We want to enhance our criminal investigation capabilities, where we can vigorously pursue gang members and bring gang-related charges against them and have them be prosecuted and be sent off to prison. and while in prison, some form of rehabilitation would be implemented, that these people don't come back out and want to be a part of the criminal network. All right. So these are some of the things to expect in our Operation Endurance, and so we expect over the next coming days we should see a lull in criminal activities and gang violence, and we want the community to feel reassured that the police is out there vigorously, pursuing these criminals and wanting to return the Federation to a state of normalcy and tranquility that we have enjoyed over the past days that we have experienced. Sorry.
Right. Is there a hotline number, an anonymous number that you can call that persons can?
Yes, there's a hotline number, and
unidentified.
I would want to encourage persons. All right, because we from time to time have been talking about these things, and people are concerned. You can call anonymously to our criminal hotline, which is 707. You can call our police main line 465-20-41, and you can reach out to your community police station. Whichever police station is in the area, you're free to call that police station. You can also reach out to an individual officer who you may feel comfortable in speaking to. And that is what I'm saying. Any bit of information that can be shared, please come forward and share it. All right. This is how we are going to eradicate the scourge from our communities, by sharing that information. Whatever you see, say something about it.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you again, ACP, for coming and sharing the information.
Yes.
Thank all of you for joining us and for your contributions. We welcome you to join us again next week on another program. Sergeant Marvin Thompson saying, so long and have a good day.
Thank you.
Tell me what you think about Marcus. Tell me what you think about Christ. Made their sacrifice now. Tell me what you think about equal rights for all, everywhere. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know.